Welcome back, everybody. Illegal alien crossings are surging, and more than 4,000 people were apprehended over the week in central Texas in that border sector there. Joining me now to weigh in on this and many more issues facing our nation, Texas Senator Ted Cruz. Senator, always great to see you. We played a soundbite earlier from Jen Psaki saying that basically that family units were being turned away at the border and only illegal alien unaccompanied minors were being accepted into the United States. I talked to several people on the ground saying that's just not true. Everybody's getting in. What are you hearing?
Look, I think the Biden administration is engaged in active disinformation. We saw the Secretary of Homeland Security say there is no crisis at the border. That is simply false. We're seeing the numbers of illegal crossings skyrocketing. We're seeing in particular the number of kids coming in skyrocketing. And there's a direct result of this. We've seen this play before. When Barack Obama was president, when he introduced amnesty, DACA, for people who came as kids, the result of that is it produced an incredible influx of unaccompanied children. And the problem with that is you've got children who are being brought in by human traffickers, by global criminal cartels. They are vicious. They are physically abusing these kids. They are sexually abusing these kids. Nobody who is humane, nobody who is compassionate, nobody who cares about the kids would want to see little boys and little girls handed over to human traffickers. Well, that's what's happening right now. And the reason they're coming now is the reason they came when Barack Obama was president, which is because they've been promised amnesty. Joe Biden is telling them if the kids come, they can stay. And the direct result of those irresponsible promises is little children being subject to horrific conditions and horrific abuse. And sadly, it's only getting worse.
Absolutely. Earlier today, the White House Southern Border Coordinator, Roberta Jackson, asked if it's a coincidence in this policy of Mr. Biden's and the result in these border crises we're all having to endure. And this is how the exchange went.
One of the things I think is important is we've seen surges before. Surges tend to respond to hope. And there was a significant hope for a more humane policy after 4 years of, pent-up demand.
So, Senator, as I read the Biden administration, there's a demand for people to come to Texas without any restrictions, to come to the United States without any restrictions, and the Biden administration wants to serve us up like a carved turkey.
Well, there's an old line in Washington that a gaffe is when a politician accidentally tells the truth. I think that clip you played is an exact example of it. She's acknowledging the reason that we're seeing this massive influx of illegal immigration is because Joe Biden has promised an amnesty. He said, "Ollie, ollie, oxen free, come on in." If you look at the immigration plan that Joe Biden put forth, it is the most radical immigration plan any American president has ever proposed, bar none. He proposes every single illegal alien in the United States become an American citizen. Why? Because he believes the vast majority of them will vote Democrat. It's all about politics. But even more broadly than that, he proposes rescinding every single person who was deported over the last 4 years. If you were deported under Donald Trump, Joe Biden says, come on back. That's true even if you're a murderer, even if you're a rapist, even if you're a child molester, even if you have killed people as a drunk driver. Joe Biden has said, well, if Donald Trump deported you, we want you in America. Listen, no reasonable, rational person sitting at home is sitting there thinking, we need more murderers, we need more rapists. And that's what Biden's immigration plan says. It makes no sense. And, President Trump frequently framed his policies in terms of America first. The Biden administration's policy seem to be centered around America last. Everyone else comes last in line behind illegal immigrants and criminal illegal aliens.
Yeah, you took me right where I wanted to go, because evidence of this America Last policy, I spoke with Texas Congressman Michael McCall, I know you know well, on the program yesterday. Here's what he had to say about illegal alien crossings and juxtaposing what's going on in Washington, D.C. Listen.
As you know, in the Capitol, we're surrounded by razor wire and all the National Guard, and it's got to be all threat-based. But, the sad thing, Chris, is it's easier to cross the border illegally into this country than it is to get a Capitol tour in the United States right now. We'll start taking this down let's start letting these guards, men and women, who I really feel for them, and I really respect them a lot, and I appreciate their service, but, you know, I think they need to get back home.
Yeah. So there you go. American citizens, we must comply with the mandates from our government. We can't get a tour of our own capital, but the door is wide open for illegal aliens. It buttresses your point, yes?
Absolutely. And you look at the Capitol right now, the Capitol is surrounded with high fences, with razor wire. There are 5,000 National Guards carrying machine guns. And it's all political theater. I got to tell you, I've talked to a lot of these guardsmen. I've said thank you. They're from states all over the country. I've spent a lot of time just going and thanking these men and women who are here. And almost to a person, they recognize there's no good reason for them to be here. The Democrats are engaged in theater, and what they want to say by having armed troops turning the Capitol into Camp Baghdad is they want to say the 75 million Americans who voted for Donald Trump are all a threat and a danger, and we need soldiers to protect us from them. It is idiocy. I'll tell you this morning, Chris, I sent out on Twitter, I said, you know, we're seeing illegal immigrants streaming across the border. Some of them are wearing Joe Biden T-shirts. If only the illegal immigrants were wearing MAGA hats, maybe then Democrats would want to build a wall and send the National Guard. I mean, it's asinine what they're doing.
And that's a great point. Governor Greg Abbott back into Texas. He reopened Texas. Today was the first day. Dr. Fauci has responded saying, quote, "We don't want to see another surge, and that's inviting one when you do that," end quote. Meanwhile, Texas government officials are saying that if they see a surge here in Texas, it's because Mr. Biden is letting loose undiagnosed and diagnosed illegal aliens with the China virus. What say you?
Now, look, that's exactly right. Number one, Fauci has managed to be wrong over and over and over again throughout COVID-19. He's certain in everything he says, and then he retracts it seems, minutes later. Number two, the Biden administration's policies on illegal immigration. It's interesting in the hierarchy of priorities. They're releasing illegal immigrants who have COVID-19. I mean, it is, they so want open borders that the restrictions they want to place on every American somehow disappears if you're an illegal immigrant. It's backwards. And you listen to Democrats, listen, COVID-19 has been a serious disease. We've seen over 500,000 Americans lose their life. We've taken extraordinary steps to combat it. We have a vaccine now. Over 30 million Americans have received the vaccine. More are getting it. But yet you see these big government statists who say, well, even if you get the vaccine, you still need to wear a mask. Even if you get the vaccine, you still can't fly on an airplane. Even if you get the vaccine, we're still going to keep schools shut down forever. It is insane. We need kids back in school. We need people back at work. We need to stop with this command and control that I got to say, look, Senate Democrats, they have control of everything, and they're drunk on power right now. And every policy they're supporting makes no sense. When we did the all-night voting session on this $1.9 trillion porculus bill that we just voted out, and every Republican voted no on it, we had amendment after amendment. I introduced an amendment and said, look, 40% of American school kids right now today are in class, in person, 5 days a week. That's less than half the kids in America. That is an outrage. Millions of kids are being left behind. And my amendment was very simple. It said, this bill is giving billions of dollars to the schools. The schools don't get the new money. They get all their old money, but they don't get the new billions of dollars unless they're open. In other words, if they want the cash, they got to open the doors and actually teach the kids. And if they don't, then the parents get a scholarship of up to $10,000 a kid. So if the school that they're in is not teaching them, they can send them somewhere else to get educated. Every single Democrat voted no. All of them are willing to say to the school kids, to millions of school kids, many low income, many African American, many Hispanic, kids being left behind, and the Democrats are saying they don't give a damn. They care more about the teachers' union bosses than they do about the kids. Enough is enough. We need kids back in schools. We need people back to work. I am very glad Texas is opening up. We need to be open. We can take common sense precautions against the disease, but people need to work and kids need to go to school.
Hey, I'm Rob Finnerty. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please join the conversation in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe, too. Hit the bell icon to be alerted to breaking news. And remember, there's a whole lot more on Newsmax TV, America's fastest growing cable news network. Newsmax TV, we're real news for real people.